up with it? You already know you rocking with Thumps, and we on the No Paperwork podcast right now, man.
Yeah, you know what it is. No Paperwork podcast. N-Sane. Hi, man. We rocking with Thumps. You know what it is. Shit. Thumps, man.
Now.
Welcome.
It's about time we get you on, man. I appreciate you for coming.
Man, I appreciate you, man. You know what it is.
Thank you.
It's all love.
You've already done the interview.
Yes.
We did. That was the first one.
For the Souls,
Yeah. And that was a good one. I still get heck of views on that
That's
one.
why I posted it the other day.
Yeah.
Man, I seen it.
It's a good one.
Yeah. How did that come about?
Man, I think that Unity Day, huh?
Uh-huh.
And she was like, I'm gonna be in touch. I want to do a podcast with you. So
yeah, that's dope.
Because I would see you everywhere.
Yeah.
It seems like everybody knows you. I was like, who is this guy? And then my husband was like, oh yeah, we got to get him on the podcast.
Yeah.
Like, all right, cool.
You already know.
Yeah. Well, when I first met you, do you remember the day I first met you?
Was it the Unity Day?
I think it was.
Or was it in Richmond?
The first day we actually talked, it was Big Tone's video shoot.
Oh.
And you said, oh yeah, man,
the NorCal side.
NorCal side.
For sure. I remember that day.
And then I told you, I was like, bro, I want to tell you how proud I am.
Yeah.
Of what you guys were doing with the Unity thing,
man.
And how Frank Long was able to come together with the rest of the homies,
yes, sir.
And actually squash a whole lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
And you guys did that, and I was like, man, I just wanted, you know what I mean? I wanted to say how proud I was of you.
Hell yeah.
Little did I know you were TikTok sensation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I found that out after too.
Yeah, that was like crazy how it came about. I had 34 followers, I think.
Yeah.
And then like within a month of me posting how to do burpees and all that, it just started climbing.
Yeah.
And once I had a video of me coming home for the first time. And I guess it touched a lot of people's hearts. So, that shit ran up 500,000.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I started getting followers and I was like, I got to run with it. Once you see that type of traction, you got to go with it, you know?
And what was that video about you coming home? Because I don't think I seen that one.
Yeah, so my sister, she was there when I first got out of, I went from the pen on my appeal back to Sac County, and I ended up getting out from Sac County. So I got to walk out in downtown, for the first time since I was 16. And my sister was there, and she videotaped me walking out. I still had the paper jumpsuit. I still had the state boxers, you feel me, a state T-shirt. I was, because I had been down so long, all my clothes that I got arrested with, I was 16 when it happened. So
you outgrew them.
Yeah, it was a wrap. So, yeah, she filmed it, and, it was me surprising my mom and my nana and my mom's boyfriend. So, I didn't know I was coming home, but, I had faith in, I ended up getting told, like, for Easter, you're going to be home.
Mm-hmm.
So I told my sister, but I'm like, don't say nothing. I want to surprise mom. It's been so long,
Oh my gosh.
It meant a lot. And so, boom, I ended up getting told I'm going home. So, but I called my mom. I'm like, you know what? They postponed my court date a couple months down the road. So, you know how it goes. Because she's been through the whole shit.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Trial with me, all that. So she knows how the game goes. Sometimes they'll postpone it like 8 months, 9 months down the road. So she's like, all right. But one day, that day I got out, I called her and she was cooking breakfast. And I always play with her about, eating her breakfast and shit. But I told her that day, like, yeah, save something for me. My sister came to pick me up, drove home. She had no idea, brought her some flowers, surprised her. And she flipped out, she really thought that she wasn't going to see me again, the way things were looking. Yeah, so I was able to, surprise her, eat that same breakfast I told her I was going to eat. So, yeah, it was just a beautiful thing. And I think it touched a lot of people's hearts. So that's what sparked it,
That is so precious.
That is
As a
dope.
mom, I'd have like a heart attack. I'd be like, oh my God, in the
Damn
face.
near did. The way it looks, I didn't know how to react. Like, it was like she saw a ghost. Like, because like I said, I had 30 years, 8 months, 2 strikes. Started out on level 4s. I'm on go in that motherfucker. It's from 18 years old, I hit the main line. I didn't get out till I was 27. I grew up on the yard. She knows how the game goes, so she knows, it might go one way or the other. I might come home, I might not.
Right.
So
that's the type of shit that'll make a grown man cry, man.
Yeah.
That'll make a grown man tear up because, I mean, if you've been in any kind of, impoverished neighborhood, the struggle. You've seen the struggle. You ain't even necessarily had to go to the pen, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've just been around it. You've seen the tears. You've seen, the mothers cry. The visitations. The man, I'm not coming home. I don't know if I'm coming home. hey, the lockdowns, man, are there phone
Man.
calls? Can't get phone calls. Why you got in trouble? All that
Yeah.
bullshit. Right?
Yeah.
You know that shit.
Yeah, that's why
Anybody in any kind of impoverished neighborhood.
as a mother, I think about it and I'm just like, at what point do you like, okay, I got to keep it strong for my son and not even being able to foretell the future,
Right.
and then you just pop in like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would have had a fucking
And you
heart
did
attack.
you did 12 years?
Yep. 12 straight.
Damn.
From 16 to 27. I went down 2010. I got out 2022.
And you got life.
Nah, so I got sentenced to 30 years, 8 months, 2 strikes. I got charged as an adult. I was 16, running around with a gun, gang banging out here, and I ran into a Southsider. He thought he was big and bad, and he ended up saying something to me, and I had something on me, so I put something in him, and I get 2 attempted murders, 2 gang enhancements, 2 GBI enhancements, all that, and I get 30 years, 8 months, 2 strikes when I'm 17. Yeah, it was crazy, but over time the laws change. Prop 57, it changed the way they sentence juveniles. You can't automatically get sent to adult court. So things, started to turn around. Little did I know, at the time I got 30 years, 8 months, 2 strikes. I'm going to level 4s, I'm hearing how it's going down.
Mhm.
So I'm not even thinking about going home. I got to focus on, what I'm doing in there and who I got to become to,
Right.
get along in that motherfucker. Uh, so yeah, I got that appeal and I ended up doing 12 years off that 30.
How did your family react to that news?
Of me coming home or just me
No, of
that appeal?
when you got caught up.
Oh, when I got caught up, yeah, there was a lot of tears. They thought, how your mom, she's always gonna look at you as, my mijo and he can do no wrong.
Your mom's your biggest supporter.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and she really thought that I wasn't doing nothing. She might have thought I was hanging around with some kids that I shouldn't have been around, but little did she know,
Wow.
like I was out there trying to gun shit down. And when it happened, like they couldn't believe it. And then when they see me in cuffs and they bring the gun out of my room, because they found it in my room, like I'm so much of a young, dumb kid. Like
Yeah.
after I did all that and I got into other, type of situations too, I would go home and put that gun right under my mattress and sleep like a baby. And when they came, the cops came out of the room with the gun,
Mhm.
they couldn't believe it. My nana, they're like, start bursting in tears. So yeah, it was heartbreaking for me too, because I let them down.
Yeah.
Because I seen how they really looked at me. When you're a kid, you're rebelling and you don't think nobody cares about you.
Right.
And then when I seen that, it was too late. I'm in handcuffs already, and I'm like, oh, they really do, love me. They really, they were just being hard on me because I'm a knucklehead,
Yeah.
you know. So it was too late. But
That's crazy. I think it was the opposite for me when I first got arrested. My grandma actually picked me up, and I became the black sheep of my family like right away. So it wasn't like, oh man, what I mean? These motherfuckers really don't care for me. You know what I'm saying? No. But no, I can understand like like my mom's for sure. She loves me.
Yeah.
Your mom's gonna love you.
always.
Like nobody wants to see their kid. I don't want to see my kid end up in handcuffs. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And you're about to have a kid, right?
Yes.
Congratulations.
July.
Man, thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm
That's a
real
big deal.
excited. My girl's excited. It's our first baby, We're having a baby girl.
How have you been mentally preparing yourself for that?
Man, I don't even know. Honestly, I'm just like, some days I wake up and I'm thinking about her and I'm getting nervous. I'm getting butterflies. I just want to make sure that I'm the best dad I could be for her.
Yeah.
Teach her how to, move right. And, I know how, I'm not a parent, but I think it would be different for girls than boys. In my mind, I'm thinking it'll be easier for me to raise a boy than a girl, but all I could do is give her the game
Mhm.
and hopefully she picks it up. But yeah, we're excited. We're
But
excited.
you have a head start, right? Because you've already been to prison at a young age,
Yeah.
right? Now you're having your first kid, so you know what not to do.
Mhm.
You know what didn't work for you
Yeah.
and what would work.
Yeah.
So all you have to do is take everything you learned from being in prison, from going to prison, from getting out of prison,
Mm-hmm.
take all those lessons and instill those in her. All of your values, your morals and shit,
Yeah.
everything you've learned, everything you were taught, education, and instill that on her, and you're not gonna lose.
Yeah, and I think the one up that you have too is that because you did that time so young, you understand the value of time
Yeah.
and how that's the one thing that you can't get back. So I don't anticipate you would ever waste a moment
Yeah,
in this
nah.
new chapter of your life,
I'm trying to
ever.
be there. I already got the papers to get the paternity leave or whatever I gotta do. Like I'm
Good
ready
for
to
you.
be there.
Good for you.
She got a homegirl too, right? That she just had her baby, I think yesterday or the day before, but
Yeah.
they're real close because my girl's like 8.5 months.
Yeah.
And she just had her baby, and that, she sent my girl pictures, and that set my girl off, because they're so close to being pregnant. So, that's, and seeing her friend go through that and just have a baby, that's how I know me and my girl, we're right there.
Yeah.
We're trying to get the bags ready. So when we go to the hospital, we're trying to get the room ready.
Yeah.
We done rearranged like 3-4 times already.
That's dope.
Yeah, she's nesting right
Nesting.
now.
I was going to say that. Yeah, she's in cleaning mode. I know that. That's like a month right before you give birth. You just go crazy.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
so has that changed your life since you've heard that she was pregnant? Now that you're anticipating a kid, has it hit you yet, or are you waiting for her to come to be like, all right, this is real?
I mean, it's hit me, but I think once I see her come out, and I'm right there in the room with her, I think that's when everything's gonna hit me.
Because I had a daughter, and when my baby's mom was pregnant, I didn't think nothing of it. It was nothing.
Yeah.
I didn't think twice. It was like, oh, whatever, we're having a kid, whatever. But the minute that the nurse put my daughter in my arms,
Yeah.
like that was like a life-changing experience. I was like, damn. And I wasn't the same after. But at first it was like, whatever.
Yeah, because you're holding like half of you in the fucking flesh.
Right.
Like you created this
and it's
child.
something that you have to protect. It's something that you have to nourish. Something that you gotta, being a parent doesn't come with instructions.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
And so you have to learn as you go. And I'm over here holding my daughter. She's hella little. I'm hella big. Like, fuck, I hope I don't break her. Like, dang.
Yeah,
like,
hella fragile with her. Yeah.
Right. And it's like, dude, like I control what happens to this life. And it's a big responsibility.
Mhm.
But it's a blessing.
Yeah, and then you see life so differently after you have a child. Like it's something unexplainable prior to having a kid. Like you can't explain the change, and then you have a child and you just view the world from such a different lens because you have such a big responsibility to keep this child alive, to raise this child in a healthy way, to model a good relationship. There's so many layers to parenthood, but it's beautiful.
I think, like he said, we got the one up because, most of us came from what not to do as parents, so at least we might not know what to do, but we know what not to do. So that's a start.
Yeah. And you and your girl seem like you guys are like best friends. Like, you guys have that best friend kind of love. And that is like extraordinary.
I was just texting her right before I walked up here. I'm like, man, I just can't wait to get home with you. I want to lay down and watch your show. All that. You know
what show? No, I'm curious.
She watches Handmaid's Tale.
Oh,
you ever watch that?
Oh, it's a psychological show.
I ain't gonna lie. Don't tell her, but I don't like it.
You
I don't like it. But
Really?
I watch it for her. I love you.
It's on the podcast.
I love you, Mom.
We told you.
But she watches Handmaid's Tale, and I just can't get into it. But I don't really watch, I don't really watch TV.
Yeah.
Since I've been down, I don't watch, I was watching state movies, in the pen passing time. But out here, I feel like, I got out 19 years earlier. Like, I don't have time to sit down and watch a show. I don't got time to sit down and watch a movie.
Mm-hmm.
I got to find out how to make money. I got a regular job, but I need to make money, off of everything that I'm doing, fitness and content and all that, clothing or whatever I'm finna get into. I got a baby girl on the way. So, my mind is always running. So I might watch TV real quick, but I'm, I got to be productive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your mind's always
Yeah. I noticed with the TikTok lives, you can monetize that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to get into next, right? It's like I just seen you and you on TikTok all over the place and shit. I checked out a couple of your lives and shit. And you going crazy on there, man.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate it.
Like I didn't know how did that happen? How did you just get into TikTok?
Well, so I've been talking about this with my cousin, Tax-Free Money Man, right? We go way back since he knew me before I even knew me. He's a little older than me, but we grew up together. Our moms are friends and all that. But when I was in prison, he was telling me, because, I would send videos home of me working out and, them seeing how in shape I was. He was like, people out here, because I missed the social media wave. I didn't, I was checking my MySpace before I got locked up.
Yeah.
That's how behind I am. I'm doing my workouts. He's like, people are out here making money off that. And I'm like, yeah. And he was like, and these people don't even look anything of what you look like. So if they could do it, you could do it. So we've been planning this since I was locked down. And then when I got out, I went through a couple of trials and tribulations, trying to get my feet, steady on the ground after coming out after so long. But he hit me up one day after work, and he's like, hey, let's go shoot a video.
Mhm.
I'm like, all right. At the time I wasn't doing nothing. I was kind of down on myself because I knew I was supposed to be doing this. That's what I do.
Mhm.
So I pulled up and I just showed a basic burpee. And from that day, I went from 34 followers. I ran that up to 25,000 followers in like 5, 6 months. And I just been getting gamed up. I owe a lot to Rico Too Smooth, man. Shout out my boy Rico. You already know
Shout out
who it is.
Rico.
And I linked up with him, and you already know he got his social media popping and shit like that.
Right.
So he was like, okay, yeah, I see. He's seen it in me, so
Mhm.
he's like, look, when you do your videos, put your camera on this setting. You feel me? Like, it matters what time you post. You got to check your algorithm and all
Right.
that. So he put me on game, and then once I got that, I just ran with it. So once I got the game, I was like, yeah, this is my lane right here. This is what I'm supposed to do.
What do you think about the social media space? Having to deal with the trolls and everything that comes with it? Because when I posted our clip from when you were on my podcast,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that a lot of people recognized him from his like workout videos, and a lot of people were trying to talk shit. And I was like, wait, what the fuck? That was such a good
That comes
podcast. He
with the
was
territory,
so
man.
knowledgeable. But I didn't realize to what extent
Yeah.
people were trying to hate on you. And I was like, this guy's so positive, such
Trolls.
a good, got
that's-
such a
they
good
do-
head
You
on
gotta
his
love
shoulders.
him, man. Hey, look,
It's like they get paid for it.
Yeah, you helping my algorithm out anyway just by commenting, whether it's negative or positive. So good looking. Appreciate you for rocking with Thumps. But it's hella funny to me because I don't know, I'm from that cloth where I would never disrespect anybody, unless they had a fair chance to respond in my face. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, come on now. So yeah, all the net bangers, I'll be having fun with them. I'll put them on my lives.
Oh
And
yeah,
most of the time,
For real?
they're little kids. Yeah, I'll hit their little fucking name on there, and then you can add them. And I'll be like, all right, bro, since you want to type so much, let me hear what you got to say. Most of the time, it's a young ass kid. They just
Right.
trolling. I already know.
That's hella
People
funny.
saying, oh, I know where you live, or I'm gonna pull up. Like, come on, bro. Well, you should have been pulled up.
Right.
Come
Yeah.
on, bro.
Don't
That's
talk about
But
it.
it's funny though. It cracks me up. But I get a lot of love too, though. Like I be telling people on TikTok Live, that's the only place I get hate. I be in other cities.
I think it's just the algorithms on TikTok,
Yeah,
which is,
yeah.
I mean, marketing wise, it is good, right?
yeah.
But I swear something with TikTok comes with such a big
Yeah.
amount of negativity.
Because
And
when I go IG Live, I don't get not one.
Yes.
But do you know why?
nothing.
same.
You know why? Because TikTok doesn't make you pay to promote. So they'll put your algorithm into anybody's,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? Your algorithm mix, but IG, like it goes to who you promote to, who's more
Mhm.
likely to be a consumer and all that. So the algorithm is built different,
Yeah.
right?
That
So you
makes
have
sense.
some kind of censorship with like Meta, the whole Meta app, Facebook, and all that.
Yeah.
But with TikTok, you don't. There's not that censorship.
Oh yeah,
So-
they're two different things.
Right, because anybody could, and I noticed that too. A hell of fucking trolls on TikTok,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Mhm.
where the fuck these fools come from?
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Well, that makes sense, right? Because when you scroll on your FYP, you get, like, I've seen a lot of lives come up. Because at first I didn't understand TikTok. I would just go on their posts. I didn't understand it. But yeah, you get a lot of random people I've never seen in my life. I'm like, why is the algorithm referring
And then
this
what
to
they're
me?
doing
the
is
fuck's going on?
it's not nothing you interested in. You're like, what?
Yeah, I'm like, what
Right.
the heck is this?
Because we're so used to like the Meta, the Facebook,
Yeah.
and the Instagram,
That makes sense.
right? And I like X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. They're not like that either, right? So
Mhm.
you see a bunch of random shit on X. You know what I mean? X is totally wild right now. Like, I don't even
Really?
go on X,
I don't go on there.
but I mean, I have an X, but it's like, man, who uses it? I don't even know how to use it anymore, right? They switch it around. But
Yeah.
now they be showing nudes and shit on there, so it's like it's a whole different beast, right? But so when it comes to promoting, like the main things you promote on is IG, Facebook, or TikTok,
Mhm.
right? And so you notice the difference on like the way the viewers see you and how you see people. You know what I mean? As
Mhm.
far as the algorithm goes,
Yeah.
so it's a real thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with that, right? So you lightweight became TikTok famous. Like,
man, y'all don't like saying that word,
but it's
a
a
lot of
real
people,
thing though.
They
like it's a real thing.
I be out and about and people be like, man, ain't you on TikTok? Or they be like, you already know you rocking with Thumps. So yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that, but I just do it. I'll be doing my thing just to motivate my homies. Like 'cause you already know, as a homie working out, getting in shape, that's what we do. So that's my main focus. If I get anything else extra, that's cool.
Right. No.
Yeah.
Which is dope, because I've seen you on a couple other podcasts too, which is fucking crazy, right? Because like usually you expect rappers and shit, but like J-Ren TV, like you were on that. I think that was your first podcast, right?
Nah, she was.
Oh, you were.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think because
you
you
got
have
the crown.
I
That's
did.
why.
I just think you have such a powerful testimony. That's why, and you conduct yourself so well. And the insight to your life and the like hindsight that you take and just being able to analyze yourself the way that you do.
Yeah.
It really captures your story. Like the way you share your story and your testimony is very captivating.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. And it's crazy because like on the J-Ren TV, right?
Yeah.
You were talking about your story and shit, but a lot of people were like, oh, yeah, right. Hey, this buster didn't do nothing. You know what I mean? Like they have that whole.
Man. Hey, they in California, cases are public. Check it out.
Yeah, but it's a trip how people will believe what they want to believe and discredit like.
There's.
You know what? But I also feel like that's because you don't fit that cookie cutter mold of what people expect you to act like. Because you skate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do. Skate or die.
You'll listen to different kinds of music, and he's very open about it too.
Right.
So it's like he doesn't have to look hella hard all the fucking time, And I think people look at that and are like, oh, this is someone who did time skating. And making all these other videos.
There ain't I don't know what look they want, but I've seen, you already know, you see homies in the pen with no tattoos, glasses, they look straight square, but they are killers. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and then, for me, a lot of people, they be like, oh, well, if you did 12 years, why you ain't tatted up? Like, bro, I seen a lot of motherfuckers, face tats or whatever, they got their hood on them. And they're rolling up. They're getting it. They scared of funk and all type of shit situations, and they're gone. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make it a point that you could be gangster. You could do everything you got to do in here. Hold yourself accountable. In good standings. You don't need tattoos. Tattoos don't make you gangster. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, that's just how I go. So that's why I don't know what mold they want me to fit, but I know where I've been and what I've done. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's something that like I try to push. Is that like just like Big Tone and Rico and certain individuals who never been to the pen and still be able to be who they are but still be successful. Then you got motherfuckers who've been to the pen like Fats, like yourself, still able to come out, hold your head high, not drop out, but still make a successful living for yourself, still hold your head high, still be an upstanding member of society, but without having to denounce who you are as a person or where you came from, which is something that I congratulate you on, and I congratulate any homie that does that shit. Because if you check the narrative, it's always like, oh, you have to drop out, or you have to, you're fucking so and so age and you still repping your neighborhood. God damn it, I'm gonna be repping my hood for life.
That's why I tell people, for life. Well, now you didn't know, you must not be a member because this shit for life. You don't gotta be running around trying to get into shit all day. But if something happened or if I see a situation where I gotta respond like that, for sure.
Right.
That's just the way the game goes.
Motherfuckers ain't on the block and shit every fucking day. We're not on the street corner with a fucking a tall can. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers is making money and being successful and shit.
Yeah.
But we still have each other's back as a community. Right?
That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
If anybody knows anything about what we do, man, you're supposed to better yourself in there. That ain't where, if you want to get into gangster shit, there's some shit for you. Right. But the overall goal, man, you're supposed to go in there because a lot of us was adolescent or young and we didn't, what can I say? Like authority figures, we didn't listen to them.
Right. Mm-hmm.
We had no structure. So a lot of us went in there and we got structure. We minded somebody and you got to know how to follow before you could lead. You feel me? So all these people that be like, oh, I ain't going to listen to another man. Nah, shit. There's some shit that was in place way before you was born. Probably when your grandpa was born.
Right.
There's the way shit goes in here. You're going to listen to somebody or you're going to be on the other side. So, but you can either take that as a negative, but you could turn it around into a positive. Like prison wouldn't, without prison, I wouldn't be the man I am today. I wouldn't have the patience or the way I carry myself, the PR skills. I wouldn't be able to network, it's just you're supposed to better yourself and come out and better your people. No, regardless if they're on the path to prison, it could be just a motherfucker who grew up in your area, in your community, in your neighborhood, but you want to see them shine instead of crash and burn or be another victim to what's going on out here. You feel me?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And you're an inspiration to people because I see a lot of motherfuckers that be like, man, you got me started on my fitness journey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You bust down sensei. Fucking, I was just talking to Fats last week. I'm like, man, I'm going to the gym, man. I'm about to work out. Fats was like, for sure. Then I got sick. And I was like, man, I know that's just an excuse, but I ain't working out while I was sick. You know what I mean? So for sure, I'm about to get down, man. So I'm gonna have to holler at you. And I don't know if I'm gonna be fucking skateboarding and doing them push-up hops and shit.
Nah, yeah,
but
baby steps, man. You gotta crawl before you walk.
Because you be doing some wild ass shit on there. I'm like, goddamn.
Yeah, you and Sensei be like.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, man. I'll say it here first. Sensei's better than me. I feel like we played skate one time.
Shout out Sensei.
Yeah, shout out Bust Down Sensei, man. You know I fuck with my salineros. But yeah, Sensei, he got some tricks that, man, I ain't even tried because I know I can't do it. But yeah, he's a good skater. Like I could tell, if you was really skating back in the day, once you see somebody in their style and how they flip the board, you like, oh, okay, nah, you was skating.
Yeah.
You was skating.
Yeah. Not even with skating though, we're working out.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers work out some unorthodox ways. Like you do some unorthodox ass push-ups. I'm like, the fuck?
Is it just a thrill to challenge yourself or what inspires that?
Well, okay, so them type of workouts, when you explosive push-ups or whatever, I got a Freestyle Friday I was supposed to drop, but I'll do it after. But I did some explosive burpees, right? But that's called plyometrics. Now, I don't know the scientifics about it or whatever, but that type of fast, twitch muscle workouts, that's what NFL players do. That's how you build strength and you really utilize your muscles. So that ties into it. But when I got out, I see all the homies Bust Down Sensei. I seen Rico, we was going to the gym and they're doing these explosive burpees. I ain't never, did none of that. I'm in the pen, traditional burpees. I know it by the counts, by the cadence. I was in the hole, running the machine, all that. But when I seen it, I'm like, okay, man, if y'all can do it, I can do it. And, they just taught me and I started doing it. And then I developed my Freestyle Fridays, you feel me? So, and then it became like people expected. So that is like a challenge to myself too. I got to one-up myself or do something new for my fans and for me too.
Have you ever experienced, what's that? What is it called? It's like a syndrome that your arms get where you they lock up and you can't move them at all from working them out so much? Never?
But in juvenile hall, right? I feel like I was working out harder in juvenile hall than I was in the pen or in the county. I was doing like 1,000 push-ups a day, 1,000 burpees. And I would do it until like the whole side of my hand and my arm would go numb. And I even had to, I had to go to the nurse and they were like, what are you doing? I was like, man, I was doing push-ups. And they were like, well, stop doing push-ups. But I think, I don't know. I was just, either my form was wrong. I was like 16, 17 at the time, but I'm in juvenile hall trying to get buff. I already know I'm going to the pen, so I'm more, from juvenile hall, I was training myself for a head, you feel me? But yeah, I used to work out till my hands went numb, and now I had to take a break for a couple of days.
Yeah. That's another thing, too, that I saw on social media when I posted your clips, how many people were getting on him about how exercising, like he was like saying how you got to become a soldier, right? And it's for survival.
Yeah.
And so many people were like against what he said. And I was like, wait, what he said made sense. It makes sense that you got to keep yourself in shape and keep yourself strong when you're in that circumstances and even outside of, in regular life.
Even out here, like you don't even have to be in the gang life or nothing. You could hit a certain gas station in Sacramento and some shit might happen.
Yeah.
Anywhere. Anywhere in the world that shit can happen.
So, you should want to be able to, at least take care of yourself or your family or something.
Yeah.
A punch, something.
And even outside of that, right? Like if your freaking house was on fire and you need to carry your kids out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You can't even pick up your kids.
Or you got to run back in.
Or at least exercise your trigger finger, man. Gotta get the
They got one buff ass finger. That's it.
Buff ass finger.
But no, for real. Like if you can't carry your kids downstairs or something, you know what I mean? Like, man, that's some heartbreaking ass shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Yeah, no, that's
See, and that becoming a parent, you start thinking about crazy ass scenarios, you know, because I swear to God, I would drive by a river and I'd be like, all right, so this is the plan. If we were to all crash, we'd go out this window. We're getting these kids. Like, this is how it's going to be. That type of
I
shit.
think
Yeah,
we
I would
all
already
we think
start rolling down windows. I'm like, all right, they're already open, so we ain't got to break none of that.
I think we all think that, right? It comes with the territory. Like, you know, when you go to a restaurant and shit, I always, you know, face with my front to the door,
Random.
right? Never have my back to the door. I always peep out everybody who's in
I'm
there
scanning
first.
the whole
You know what I mean?
thing, trying
Yeah.
to see who I can
Like,
see.
If
And
shit were to get
just-
crazy,
That's just natural, right?
exit doors,
Yeah. If shit were to get crazy, like we already know, you know what I mean? Hey, my kid's going over here, you know what I mean? I'm going over here. This is what it is. Even like when you go on airplanes and shit. Now that I go on, you know, since 9/11, go on an airplane, like, man, I wish a motherfucker would.
Yeah.
Because a box cutter ain't gonna stop me. You don't have to slice the fuck out of me. You know what I mean? I've been stabbed before. That ain't shit. You know what I mean? But not saying like I'm Superman or whatever, but I'm saying if it's gonna be like you gonna kill me or I'm gonna kill you, well, fuck it, I'm gonna try my hardest to get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it ain't even about trying to be, you know, sound tough or nothing like that. That right there, you got to have that in you already. You know, that like going into a situation like that, that's half the battle. If you go into it thinking, oh, this dude might beat me up or, you know, I can't do it. Nah, you got to go in. Even if you're going to lose, you going in like, nah.
Scared men can't win.
Yeah, you feel
You
me?
know what I mean?
You
Like,
got to have that confidence.
right, because you already lost if you cowering.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
that's when you out of fear, that's when you start making decisions that'll fuck you up.
Right, but then if you just happen to swing and throw a right punch and knock this motherfucker out, now you just saved your own life.
And you're getting paid. Keep to the city.
You know what I'm saying? Shit.
I have a question. How has your girlfriend been a support system for you throughout this whole process?
Man, just like this here, you know, she's at home pregnant, but she knows like, you know, I gotta go do my thing. I gotta film videos after work. So she understands that I might not be able to be home, but she sees that as soon as I get off work, I go straight home. You know, I check on her, I feed her, you know, ask her how she been, how she slept, because right now she's in the stage of she's not sleeping at night. Like when I leave for work in the morning, she's going to sleep. You know, she's got an insomnia or whatever's going on with her pregnancy. Yeah. So but I go home, check on her, and then I'll tell her, like, you know, if I ain't got nothing going on, I'm like, man, I'm chilling with you today. Yeah. It's good. We're watching your show that I don't like. But yeah, but if I'm like, you know, I gotta film a Freestyle Friday today, or if I gotta, you know, do something, she'll be like, yeah, come on, or she'll come with me, or, you know. Even today, she filmed my Freestyle Friday as soon as I got home from work.
Oh, I love that.
Changed my clothes, and I was like, look, I can't go nowhere because I got this podcast, but could you go in the backyard with me and film this? You know, because I already damn near knew what I was going to do. I was thinking about it at work, you know, because I be trying to plan my whole day out. I'm at work, you know, doing my thing, but I'm like, all right, I got the podcast. I got to get a haircut. You know, I got to check up on my baby mom. You know, I got a checklist and all that.
Well,
yeah. Having a supportive partner makes all the difference, too, when you're pursuing, you know, your dreams or your endeavors or passions. It really
I make
does.
sure I thank her, you know, all the time. I just take time to tell her, like, I appreciate you, because I know a lot of people, you know, wouldn't be as patient with me as how you're being, you know. So I recognize that, you know.
Does she ever trip out when people recognize you?
At first she was tripping out, but by now she gets recognized too. You know, we've had a couple videos that, you know, did some numbers. So we'll be out and about and people are trying to say, oh, you know, congratulations. And they're giving her hugs and all that. I love you guys' videos.
Oh, that's sweet.
You know, people want us to do a little couples page and, you know, all that TikTok trending.
That'd
things like that. That's money too.
That's money.
I didn't see them have their own houses on that.
Yeah.
So I'm down.
And people love the whole family vlogging and they just that feeling like you're in someone's life. You know what I mean? That authenticity.
Yeah, they get invested.
Home videos, they get invested.
That's what I found out. You know, like nowadays, you know, I'm kind of used to getting recognized and all that. But just today, I'm on my lunch break chilling in a random parking lot on Fruit Ridge. And some dude gets out the car. He's like, Thump. And he's, you know, throwing his hands up like he knows me. And he's like, nah, I don't know you, but I follow you on social media. And, you know, that just told me, like, these fools really, you know, they think they know you. They get invested in you. And that's dope because, you know, I'm just trying to make you better. You know, you think I'm good. I'm trying to make you better than me. Or I could show you the way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you definitely an inspiration to a lot of people, man. Me included. You know,
I appreciate
that. I have to say that. I'm very proud of you.
Hell
I see you a lot with rappers.
Yeah.
How the hell do you get in the circle with all the rappers and shit?
And that's the homies. First of all, I'm gonna be where the homies is at. But you know, I think it's when I linked up with Rico, in Rico's circle, he be rapping and doing all that. So and a lot of homies rap. So I'm everywhere where the homies is at, all the events and all that. So I guess that's just how it happened.
That's
Yeah.
dope, man. So you gonna be at devotions?
Yeah, I already got my tickets, all
Oh,
that.
okay,
Yeah, I was
cool.
telling Big Tone, I was like,
That's
man, I
like a
already got
good
my
thing.
tickets. He was like, man, you should have told me. You could have pulled up with me.
Oh,
But I was like, man, I bought my tickets like a regular person.
Hey,
I'm
Big Tone, can
good.
I pull up with you?
Yeah, yeah.
Nah,
Hey,
I'm fucking
can I
around.
ride with you?
I'm fucking around, man. I'm gonna
I
get
got
my
some gas
tickets off.
money. Nah.
Nah, yeah, real shit. But no, that's dope, man. Because devotions is like a big. It's an event out here. You know
Man,
what I
I ain't
mean?
never
Like,
been to it. I ain't never
never.
heard of it. This.
What?
Yeah, I swear, bro. I've been
That's
under a rock
like
for 12
that's
years.
like homeboy Mardi Gras over there and
Man,
shit.
yeah, I
Like,
ain't that high school that it's at too. I went there. I used to go to Burbank.
I seen that on the Big Tone show. You
Yeah.
said
A
that.
lot of people probably don't remember me because I went like a month or something, got
Oh
kicked
yeah.
out.
what
But
year?
fuck. Okay, so I want to say I was a freshman in maybe '08, '09, but I was supposed to graduate in 2012.
Oh,
So
okay.
I don't know if so 11, 10, maybe 2008 I was a freshman.
Oh shit.
Oh damn.
But at that time I'm maybe like 13, turning 14. I got one of them
Yeah.
late birthdays, so I was always younger than everybody,
Yep.
turning whatever age I was supposed to be. But at that time I was gang banged out. That's all I knew. I didn't want to be at school. I didn't show up with a backpack. I had some weed on me, some
Right.
blunts, and that's it. And I was looking for any Southsider I could see. And every time I seen him, we getting him up, and I get, the gang cops knew me. They validated me there. Yeah, I was wild. So, but every time I would try to go, because I really wanted to go to school. That's where all the homies is at. That's where all the experiences are.
That's where all the girls were at.
But I just couldn't get away from, when I seen one of them motherfuckers, I'm trying to get on him,
Bro. I mean, it's like that, and a lot of people they don't understand that lifestyle. That's how,
Yeah.
because that's how it was in Stockton. That lifestyle
Yeah.
was just like you get off where you
Mhm.
get off where you mad at.
Yeah, it's a
And
switch.
it don't matter if it's at Taco Bell. It don't matter if it's at school. It don't matter where it's at. Like you get off where you mad at.
Yeah.
That was like the mentality it was back then. So when you see them, you like you go to a grocery store. You're like, man, I wish I would, motherfucker would. I hope to
Yeah.
feed these motherfuckers.
I'm on that, like I keep it cool, I'll be out and about, but a lot of people don't know I'm a penitentiary minded, motherfucker.
Right.
So I'm thinking anybody, I'm scanning everything, and anybody who's walking past me, I'm locking eyes with him until he breaks eye contact, or if I feel like it's cool, I'm thinking, okay, if he do this, I'm swinging, I'm doing
Right.
this, and I don't know, it could be a bad thing, but I think it's a good thing. I'll be on point.
How much do you guys think your at-home life is what made you guys so reactive like that? Because you mentioned something earlier. You said when you got locked up, your family's reaction, you thought to yourself, "Oh wow, they really do love me."
Yeah.
Did you go through a period of feeling like you weren't as cared about as you thought you were?
Yeah.
And did that play into why you were so reactive?
I think so. I mean, I thought the whole world was against me.
Mm.
I didn't think anybody cared about me. And I was just trying to do in my mind what I thought I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't even, I felt bad too, because, my mom, she was going through things. I should have been there for her as a son, instead of getting into trouble and putting it, more hardship on her. But I couldn't see it like that. And I was just rebelling. I was like, all right, well, if it's fuck me, it's fuck you.
Yeah.
You
Is it
think
the
I'm
same for
bad?
you?
Watch this.
Yeah.
No, actually, I don't think I even cared. Like I didn't care what people thought. Like it's never been my thing to be like, oh yeah, this is what these people think of me, so I'm gonna go do this. I was just more like, this is what is expected. This is
Mhm.
what has to be done. And because I lost homies from a young age, right? Like, and from the other side. And it was just like, man, that's it. That's all it's just enemy. It's just hate. It was just pure.
Like
I
a
was driven by
resentment?
resentment, hate, like just, you see blue, it's on, right?
Mhm.
So back then it was real, I was real hateful. I was real, didn't give a shit, right? And then I wasn't grateful for nothing because everything was like, man, you took so much from me. You know what I mean? So I
Mhm.
took it personal
Mhm.
when it really wasn't personal, it was just business, right? But I took that shit personal.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, fuck the world, right? And if you
Yeah.
got anything to do with them fools, then fuck you too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I mean, in hindsight, like Was that the best action to do it? No, because I let these motherfuckers, I let motherfuckers control me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I was a slave to the thought of these motherfuckers controlling me. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
like if someone can sway your emotions to that extent, then they can control
Right.
you.
And then I had to learn how to control my emotions, right? So then when like motherfuckers would be like, man, fuck you, fuck your fat ass mom, right? I'd be like, man, fuck that bitch too, even though I love my mom. But
Yeah.
I ain't gonna let you take that. I'm not gonna let you control my narrative. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'd be like, oh, fuck that motherfucker, fuck that bitch too. I don't give a fuck. Now what?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't even care about your mom? Man, no, fuck you. Fuck you and your mom. Now what? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and that goes with being young and dumb, right? And that's like, you know, I'm trying to control the narrative, not trying to let other motherfuckers control my narrative.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But it's hard. It's adolescent shit. Growing up now, like I don't talking about no one's mom. I ain't gonna disrespect no one's mom. You know what I mean? Like I don't gonna disrespect nobody's kids. You know, I'm not for that shit. But when you're growing up, dude, you're not really knowing right from wrong. You don't really have a conscience. Or I didn't have really a conscience. I was just like,
Well, yeah, your brain's underdeveloped, right?
right.
And then I don't think we're taught emotional regulation that much. So we're out here trying to just um let it out in whatever way we can let it out.
Right.
You know, because I feel like I was the same way. My house affected how I showed up, and I was just angry. And if you got on the wrong side of that anger,
Right.
then you were gonna experience the other side of me.
But see, I didn't blame nobody in my house. I didn't blame my dad for not being there. I didn't blame nobody. I
Yeah.
was just like, I blamed the motherfuckers that killed my homies.
Yeah.
I blamed the motherfuckers that jumped me. You know what I mean? I blamed the motherfuckers that, you know what I'm saying? That's where my blame was. That's where my hate was. I still had love for my family. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. Like even like growing up, like I had resentment towards some of my family. But I'd be like, yeah, I could say fuck them, but anybody else says fuck them. That's my family. It's your ass.
Yeah,
You know what I
the
mean?
loyalty. Yeah.
Yeah, that's your
So
guys' funk. That's
yeah, that's
family
my
funk.
yeah, that's family funk. So yeah, I could be like fuck them all day, but the minute you say it, like, okay, now we got a problem.
Yeah.
Like, nah, you can't say that. But then I also learned too that by doing that, you're opening the door for other people to say fuck you. Like if you calling your lady a bitch, like man, bitch, shut up, bitch, or hey man, my bitch tripping. Like that opens the door. I'm not saying to your lady, but I'm saying that opens the door for other people to be like, yeah, man, your bitch is tripping.
Yeah.
Now you just call my lady a
Yeah,
bitch.
because they're gonna be like, you just said that. Like,
Right.
Mhm.
And that's why, like how motherfuckers call each other bitches,
Yeah,
right? And they think it's cool. Like what's up, bitch? Like, hold on, who you calling a bitch?
Yeah.
Us girls do that as a form of endearment sometimes, though.
Yeah, like
But
girls,
that's where it
that's one.
should be.
Yeah, that's a feminine trait.
Yeah.
But a lot of dudes do that shit, right?
Yeah, I had to
They
learn
do?
that
Yeah, well,
all
that
day.
dude Bands was saying that on No Jumper. He was
Yeah.
calling his homies bitches, like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we call each other bitches in Stockton. I'm like, I
Oh
don't know,
shit.
man, that's not how we do it out west.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like real shit.
Nah,
Because I don't think ever in my life have been around a man in person that has ever referred to his brothers like that.
Yeah,
Or
because
homies
you've
or
been
whatever.
around us. Like, you know what I mean? People
Yeah.
like us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I had to get used to that, right? You know, I did all that time in the pen, and on my appeal, I had to go back to Sac County to go through the appeal process. So I am, you know, I've been down since 2010, all this time in the pen, and this is 2021. A lot has changed from 2010 to 2021. You know, youngsters act different, talk different. You know, there's a lot of shit that's going on
Yeah.
that I don't know about. So I get to the county, and in the pen we don't play that. Like you ain't gonna call me a bitch.
definitely.
You're not gonna play with me and call me a bitch. Not another group segment, nothing. Like that's a serious word.
Right.
I got back to the county. I hear all these fools like, "What's up, bitch? Hey, bitch!" Like you know, "What's up, bitch ass nigga?" You know, shit like that. And I'm like, "Oh, these niggas about to fight." And they're like, "Nah, that's how they talk." And then
that's
they,
some weird shit.
yeah, it's
that's some
like,
weird shit.
you know, you see somebody, you know, you're like, "What's up, bitch? Fuck you been at, bitch?" You know, shit like that. That's the norm. But you know, me coming from the pen, I'm like, "Nah, nigga, you ain't calling me a bitch.
Right.
Don't do that." You know, and like a lot of homies knew, but you know, new homies coming in, young homies, that's the norm.
Yeah, the societal norm as it changes, it's always shifting.
Yeah. Like
Wow.
I can't see myself calling my homie a bitch because I don't kick it with bitches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
like if you a bitch, then why the fuck I'm hanging around you? But
Yeah.
now if I call you a bitch, that opens the door for other people who aren't our homies to call you a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
now that's a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I ain't gonna let some motherfucker come up to, hey, Thumps, what's up, bitch?
Yeah.
Hold on, what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, of course you could take care of yourself, but at the same time,
I'm gonna
like,
feel offended for you.
yeah,
Like, hold on, what you
like,
call the
hold
homie?
on, you calling the
Yeah.
homie? Hold on, fuck you. I don't kick it with bitches.
You know what? I have heard men say it, but jokingly to each, like they're just busting each other's balls type shit.
Like there's like a tiny sliver that
like a
you could
fine
get
line.
away with. It has to be the funniest point in our lives for
Yeah.
you to, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, but other people, you know, young homies.
Well, they have
do
like
that.
movie quotes and shit, right? Like, you know, like motherfuckers will say a movie quote to you, like, you know what I'm saying? Uh, like you know, Friday quotes or something. Motherfuckers will be like, oh yeah, your mama bitch, or you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
so they'll say movie quotes, and I think motherfuckers get away with that. But that's only between them two, and that's not in the crowd. That's not where there's people you don't know around and shit. It's very seldom, very rare, and even that is rare.
Yeah. So it's a fine line.
Yeah.
Fine line. And you guys got to be like really, really locked in for you guys to be joking around like that and it not be taken as disrespect. That makes sense.
Yeah, but you know, it's new age, new day and age and shit.
Yeah, it's cool.
So we recently had Monster on, right? And he just got out of being 12
That's
years,
the
right?
homie.
Yeah, that's the homie. Good dude. So I want to ask you the same question. When you first went in, like how different was it when you got out, like to adjust to being out? And was it more difficult to adjust being in there, like first getting in there, or first coming home?
Well, I think it was harder to adjust out here for sure. You know, you could be as hard as you want in the pen and do all that you got to do, but nothing compares to the hardships and the bills you got to pay and everything that comes with life. You know, having kids and family members needing your help and all that. I didn't know that. You know, I went away 16 where I was young to where, you know, my mom was taking care of me. My mom was cooking for me. My mom's doing my laundry and all, you know, things like that, telling me to get up for school. So I didn't know nothing about being an adult. Now, for going into the pen, I think that transition was easier because, you know, I actually wanted to go. Like I was one of them homies like, man, I want to go to the pen. I want to see all the big homies. Like this is what I'm doing.
Right.
So once I got in there, I knew how to move because I had an older homie lace me up before I left the county. Rest in peace, Boxer. You know, I just went on my way and I excelled in everything I did in there. You know, I held my head high and walked a straight line and made it out. Uh, so I feel like it was easier to transition in prison, but coming out here and having to transition from how your mind works in there and what you got to think about and what your goals are in there, it's nothing compared to what you go through out here.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because you skip the whole learning of like credit.
Yeah.
And responsibility.
I didn't even know my social security number. I didn't even know you had to know that. Like people are asking me and I'm like, I don't know. And they're looking at me like, you don't know it? And I'm like, nah. Like I be telling people, I be joking around like when my sister says something that I don't know, I be telling her like I'm not from here. Like, you know, I was gone for a long time. I had to grow up in another world damn near like you know, it's a whole nother way of life in there. So I'm still learning to this day. I didn't know what credit was. I didn't know anything about how you're supposed to get a car, but I've been doing it, you know?
Was it really overwhelming for you?
Nah, it's not overwhelming. I mean, at times it does, you know, sometimes I get down, you know, the stress of life weighing down on me. I got a lot of things going on, a lot of things I'm trying to, you know, maintain at the same time. But when I got out, I just knew that I ain't got no choice. You know, I got to do it. I'm not going to be somebody that got out the pen and, you know, I'm just out here on the streets with a sign saying, can you help me out? You know, like I would never let my name be. I didn't do all that in the pen and, you know, build my name up for me to get out and just fail everybody.
Yeah. Well, that same survival instinct is there.
Yeah. So, you know, as hard as it gets and as many times as I don't know how I'm going to figure out, I'm going to make it seem like I'm going to figure out and I'm going to figure it out, you know, one way or another, because I'll be damned if I go back or if I backtrack. I took too many steps forward.
And you got a daughter now.
Yeah. Baby girl on the way.
Baby girl on the way, man. That's something you got.
All that.
That's something you got to figure out too.
Yeah.
And she gonna grow up quick.
Yeah.
So cherish the moments that you can, like, you know, I wish my daughter was, you know, I could hold her again. You know,
tell her stop growing, huh?
Yeah.
Stay tiny.
How hard was it for you to get a job out here? Like, given your record?
Well, at first, I mean, I had a job lined up because my mom's boyfriend, he was like
Oh,
a manager of a Dollar Tree. So I got
okay.
into Dollar Tree like the second week I was out. But I ain't gonna lie, I started working for U-Haul,
Yeah.
and I was building U-boxes, portable storages, like a
Dope.
metal fabrication, putting floors in, all that type of shit. And they didn't say nothing about my background. I was still on parole. I
Oh
had that
shit.
job.
Yeah.
After I left that job, I went to a lumber mill. I was living in Yuba City. They didn't check my background, didn't P-test me. Like, I don't know, it just
Really?
seemed hella easy. I'm like, why is everybody tripping?
Yeah,
I
because I
got jobs the
hear
whole time.
all the time that people are like, once you got a record, it's so hard for you to, and people
Yeah.
look at you a different way and
No,
whatever,
I see
whatever. But
motherfuckers, man, trying putting in applications and shit.
Yeah.
They can't get a job.
I
well,
must be just a blessed
But it's
motherfucker.
yeah, the Lord
Yeah.
knows
you're not all
his
tatted down
purpose in
either
your
though.
life.
Yeah, that too. That's another reason, like a lot of homies is like, man, don't go in there and just fall into that shit and get all blasted up. A lot of homies, they might have seen me going home too. They might have seen something that I didn't see.
Mhm.
But I was always told, like, man, don't do that. Don't fall into that. And I didn't do it. Like a lot of people, if you see me with my shirt on and all that, like you wouldn't even know,
Right.
besides I guess my long hair. But,
Mhm.
you wouldn't even know I was a gang member. But going in that motherfucker, I just knew that I couldn't let nobody down. Like, I already fucked up and did all that time in the pen. So when I come out here, I have to be something. I
Mhm.
have to do it right.
And you doing it though, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
appreciate
you
you.
making a name for yourself. Like you're TikTok famous and shit. You know what I mean? Like you got motherfuckers looking up to you and shit. What else is next for you?
Man, the next thing I'm looking into getting my clothing started. I got a lot of people, I be supporting everybody's brands. Shout out Bo Biz for this one, you already know. Jacket for Life Records. But yeah, it's about time I get my own thing going because I
Mhm.
got a lot of requests in the DMs. They're like, when's the Thumps merch coming out? So I'm trying to get that popping. I'm trying to partner up with my homie and try to see if we can get a spot that I could just put some weights in or just have a spot where people could pull up instead
Dope.
of me trying to do one-on-one fitness training and all that. Like I just want a spot where people could pull up and work out, have a bust down boot camp or something like
Yeah.
that.
That'd be dope.
That'd be
Yeah.
dope. Yeah, you could ask Chat GPT for a business model.
Man, you know what? Shout out Trapper Loke, man. Shout out Hanford
Shout out
too.
Trapper Low. Where the hell
Uh,
is he?
my
He's back
boy,
there in the
man.
studio somewhere.
That's an intellectual individual right
He
there.
sure is.
And we've been having talks and shit. And he was like, man, you don't fuck with Chat GPT. I'm like, man, I made an action figure on there. I know that. But he's like, nah, bro, like you can actually ask it things and it'll give you, you can, because I told him my whole background. I'm like, look, I did 12 years in the pen. I got 16,000 followers on Instagram. I'm a fitness influencer, content creator, all that. What are the steps I got to take to monetize myself, and be self-sufficient and all that, self-supportive? And they drew out plans for me and all that, and the clothing was one of them, and even partnering up with other people. But the clothing and the fitness, I got an app that I'm about to download that you could set up somebody's weekly workout plan, all that. So that it put me in the right direction. You
Oh,
know,
that's dope. When you get your clothing line cracking, let me know because I'm gonna be one of your first
hell
customers.
yeah, I appreciate that.
Are you gonna make girls clothes too?
Yeah,
Just got, okay.
Mando, y'all already told my
Well,
girl.
I'll wear a guy's shirt.
Yeah,
I don't mind.
good.
You're
Right
wearing
now,
a
my
dog t-shirt.
girl wears
I know
all
I
my
am.
clothes.
I'm always
Yeah.
comfy.
My girl wears all my clothes now. Like I feel like my whole wardrobe is her wardrobe now.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
she's stretching
Yeah.
it out.
She's wearing the my shorts. She be having these red rag shorts on.
Yep.
And shit.
It's all about comfort. That's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
you feel so fucking
That's why I tell her,
big
as
the
long
last trimester.
as long as you comfortable and you cool, you fed, that's all I care about.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, man.
And the baby's healthy, everything's great.
Yeah, everything. Every appointment, they're like, man, her heart rate is good. She's exactly how big she's supposed to be.
Okay. Oh, what a
So,
blessing.
yeah, we're just praying that that carries on through and we have a healthy baby girl.
Yeah.
All
Oh,
that.
yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you coming through. Is there anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
Or
Man, I
promote.
just appreciate you guys, man. And you already know you rocking with Thumps on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. You already know where to find me at. Tap in for the meal plans, for the workout plans, calisthenics, power calisthenics, all that. But I appreciate you guys for letting me come through.
Oh,
It's
man, it's
always
been
a
a pleasure, man. Like,
Hell yeah.
what's your TikTok?
It's Thumps 916. I can't get it confused with the first one. Thumps 916. Thumps with a Z. And Instagram is at the real Thumps. THA, not THE, THA.
Hell yeah, and I'll have links to both of those
Hell
in
yeah.
the description, so motherfuckers can follow you
Yeah.
and shit. But yeah, man, it's a pleasure. I want to say again, I'm proud of you, man,
Mhm.
and everything I told you at the Big Tone video shoot
Yes,
still
sir.
remains, bro.
You already know, man.
Proud of you, man, and everything you're doing with the unity, with your fitness and shit, man.
Yeah.
Hey, keep doing it, man. You, man, and we gonna have you on here again, man, and maybe a couple months and shit, and see how the progress is going. Maybe
Come on now.
bring baby girl on here.
Yeah, baby girl. I have some clothes. She'll probably have some Thumps gear on.
There you go.
For sure.
Yes.
There
Yeah.
you go. And by that time, you probably have yours and your lady's TikTok back.
And would your lady ever come on a podcast?
Yeah, I actually was
Because that
gonna
would be
tell her.
cool.
I was
Hell
like,
yeah.
would you ever do it? But she's kind of like in the stage where she's shy. you know?
Yeah.
But I told her like, look, when I started my TikTok and all that content creating, it was kind of awkward talking to the camera. But once you do it and people already fuck with us, I'm like, girl, just do it.
Yeah.
Just be yourself, talk,
Yeah.
and it's good.
And if you guys are gonna do family vlogging,
you're not talking to the camera. You're talking
we're
to us.
talking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for real. So
it's regular.
that's why I be telling her it's just like a conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys want her on, I'll let her know.
I look
Oh, yeah.
forward to the future. It'll be
Yeah.
cool.
Hell yeah. Well, congratulations again,
Hell
man.
yeah, man.
Appreciate you, man. Yeah, man. You rocking with Thumps, man.
You already know
One
you
more
rocking with
time.
Thumps.
Shit, that's how it goes. We rocking with Thumps. You also rocking with No Paperwork Podcast.
That's right.
Hey, man, N-Sane. We'll see you next time, man. No Paperwork. Peace.
Take care.